Football has produced impossible goals, impossible comebacks, and managers who somehow survive 6 defeats by describing the 7th as a process. But this may be its strangest piece of evidence. In late 2007, a 20-year-old Lionel Messi posed for a charity calendar at Barcelona. Beside him was a little plastic bath, a smiling mother named Sheila Ibana, and a baby only a few months old. That baby was Lamine Yamal. On the 19th of July, 2026, Messi's Argentina and Yamal's Spain meet in the World Cup final in New Jersey. One photograph now connects the beginning of one career to the biggest match of another. It looks like destiny arranged a photo shoot, kept the receipt for 19 years, and finally submitted it to VAR. So tonight, Touchline Roast is opening case 19. Did football accidentally file its own World Cup final almost 2 decades early? The short answer is no. The better answer is much stranger, because every part of this story is real. First, the facts. The shoot was organized for a 2008 charity calendar involving FC Barcelona and UNICEF. Yamal's family had entered a raffle for local families and won a place. The child would be paired with a Barcelona player, and chance selected Messi. Photographer Joan Montfort took the pictures. In the best-known image, Messi helps Yamal's mother bathe the baby in a small blue tub. UNICEF says half of the calendar sales supported projects for children's rights, and the picture appeared on the January page. At the time, nobody in that room could know what the image would become. Messi was already one of football's most exciting young players, but he was not yet the record-breaking figure we now recognize. Yamal was not a wonder kid. He was not a winger. He was a baby whose main tactical instruction was probably do not eat the soap. The photograph was a charity assignment, not prophecy, marketing, or artificial intelligence. It was simply an extraordinary coincidence waiting for the rest of the story to happen. The chain of chance is what makes this so ridiculous. First, Yamal's family had to enter the raffle in Mataró, near Barcelona. Then they had to win. Then the organizers had to pair that family with Messi, one player among an entire squad. Then the shy young footballer and the smiling baby had to produce a photograph memorable enough to survive in an old calendar. And after all that, the child in the tub had to become good enough to play for Barcelona, good enough to lead Spain, and good enough to reach the same World Cup final as the man holding him. If any link breaks, this is just a forgotten charity picture in a drawer. That is why the photo feels designed even though it was not. Human brains love a completed pattern. We see the ending and assume the beginning must have known. VAR-9 has reviewed the raffle 17 times and found no suspicious envelope, no heated ball, and no tiny football agent hiding behind the bath. Official verdict, random. Emotional verdict, absolutely impossible. The years between the picture and the final contain almost an entire history of modern football. Messi became Barcelona's defining player, won everything available, left the club in tears in 2021, and carried Argentina to the 2022 World Cup. Yamal grew up in the same football city and emerged for Barcelona 2 years after Messi left. The handover was not planned, but the timing feels cinematic. One era closes the door, another walks through wearing shin pads. The photo itself was largely forgotten until Yamal's father shared it during the 2024 European Championship. That was the tournament where the teenager's international breakthrough helped Spain win the title. The photographer suddenly saw an old assignment become global evidence. Now the loop is tighter still. Yamal turned 19 during this World Cup. Messi is 39, exactly 20 years older. They share Barcelona history, a left foot that attracts 3 defenders, and a habit of making experienced professionals reconsider their career choices. But the final is not a ceremonial handover. Neither player is arriving to pose. One is defending a crown. The other is trying to take it. The match gives the photograph its final charge. Argentina arrive as defending champions and the only team in the tournament with a perfect 7-win record. They beat England 2-1 in the semi-final, and Messi enters another World Cup final with 8 goals in this competition. Spain drew its opening game, then built momentum, controlled France in a 2-0 semi-final, and reached only the second Men's World Cup final in its history. Yamal created the penalty that opened that match. So the picture is not connecting two passengers. It connects two central figures in teams capable of owning the ball, the occasion, and every argument online for the next month. There is also a useful warning here. Argentina against Spain is not Messi against Yamal in a car park. It is 11 against 11, coaches, substitutes, pressure, and a midfield that will treat available space like disputed property. The photograph supplies the poster. The teams still have to make the film. VAR-9's tactical forecast is therefore precise. Somebody will call it destiny before kickoff, somebody will call it rigged after the first decision, and a goalkeeper will begin wasting time before this sentence ends. There is another reason the story belongs in 2026. When Spain players first saw the photograph, some thought it had been generated by artificial intelligence. That reaction makes sense. The image is almost too neat. The old superstar, the future superstar, one bath, 19 years, one final. But multiple primary sources confirm the shoot, the calendar, the photographer, the mother, and the raffle. The picture is authentic. It is also copyrighted work owned by its photographer, which is why this video is not treating the internet like an unattended buffet and pasting it on screen for 10 minutes. We can tell the verified story with licensed portraits, original graphics, and properly cleared moving footage. That matters for more than avoiding a claim. It keeps the channel from becoming the exact thing viewers are tired of: borrowed clips, robotic narration, and a title doing all the work. The irony is perfect. A real photo looks fake because reality wrote a cleaner script than most generators. Meanwhile, low-effort channels will steal the real image, add fake motion, and somehow make the true story feel artificial. VAR-9 calls that an own goal. So did the photograph predict the final? No. It did something better. It preserved a moment before either person knew what the moment meant. Messi was a young player helping with a charity calendar. Yamal was a child from a local family that won a raffle. 19 years later, both men also share a UNICEF connection. Messi has served as a goodwill ambassador since 2010, and Yamal took on the same role in June 2026, speaking about every child's right to play. That turns the picture from a football coincidence into a circle. A campaign about children and possibility accidentally photographed possibility itself. The World Cup final is the spectacular part, but the deeper idea is quieter. Great careers look inevitable only after they happen. Before the trophies, there are families, parks, coaches, lucky breaks, and one ordinary day nobody knows to frame. VAR-9 therefore finds football not guilty of time travel, but guilty of excessive foreshadowing. Sentence: one World Cup final, no appeals, future returned unopened. Whatever happens between Spain and Argentina, the old calendar has already won the pre-match. The picture began on the January page of a charity calendar. The story reaches its next page on the 19th of July in New Jersey. Messi can defend Argentina's title. Yamal can complete Spain's new era. Only one can lift the trophy, but both arrived through the same frame 19 years early. Subscribe to Touchline Roast for the post-match VAR hearing. Case 19 is adjourned until the whistle.